Hi friends, we are starting with engineering chemistry module 3, and in this session we will be discussing about the fuels and about the calorific value, types of calorific value, and also the classification of the fuels. So introduction and classification of fuels and definitions of GCV and NCV we are going to discuss about. What are these fuels and why are we studying in this chapter about the fuels? That is because before in the ancient time and all, fuels were used only for heating, cooking and lighting purposes. Okay, but now today what is happening with the heating and cooking purposes? It's also used for transportation, communication, illumination, and also in industries for manufacturing and a lot of other applications. Okay, coal, oil and natural gas, no, these are the principal sources of energy and they are referred to as fossil fuels. Fine. And the other source of energies are like animal waste, it is used as a fuel, and also the firewood. Okay, these are called as renewable sources of sources because they can be produced. Okay, with the increasing or we can say the enormous rise in the world's population. Okay, so people started using many number of the automobiles. Okay, so when the number of the automobiles is increased, automatically the demand for the fuel also will be increased, right? Okay, so if we use the fuel in the same rate like present day what we are using, tomorrow maybe after one decade the fuels completely, the fossil fuels what are there, they may be completely depleted. Okay, very well, for the formation of the fossil fuels, okay, it is formed from the dead and decay parts of the plants and animals. Okay, it will be taking thousands of years for the conversion of this waste into the fossil fuels. Okay, fine. And if we are using in the same way like today, tomorrow there may not be any fuel available. Okay, so we are studying in this chapter about the importance of the fuels, and also we will be studying about the different alternative fuels that can be used. Okay, so when we say what are fuels, okay, fuels are the carbonaceous substances. Okay, fuels contains carbon and hydrogen as their main constituents. Okay, and which on combustion with air or oxygen will be liberating large amount of heat and light energy. Okay, fuels are the carbonaceous substances, that means which contains carbon and hydrogen, and which on combustion with the air or oxygen will produce large amount of heat and light energy. Okay, and we know very well for combustion it requires oxygen. If at all oxygen is not there, it will not the combustion will not be taking place. Fine. Okay, and coming to the classification of the fuels, the fuels now, like basically they are classified into, depending on their physical state, they are classified into the solid fuels, liquid fuels and gaseous fuels. Solid fuels means like wood, coal, charcoal, peat. Okay, all these comes under the solid fuels category. And then is liquid fuels. Liquid fuels are petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. These belongs to the liquid fuels. And gaseous fuels are the LPG, CNG, biogas, etc. These belongs to the gaseous fuels category. And the fuels are, once again, they are classified into primary and secondary fuels. Okay, what are these primary fuels? Primary fuels are the one which are directly occurring from the nature. Okay, which may be used directly without any processing or without giving any chemical treatment. For example, wood is there. Okay, the dried wood, no, properly dried wood can be used directly, right? And even the coal can be used. Okay, they don't need any modification, right? So they are called as primary fuels. The fuels which are occurring directly from the nature, they are called as primary fuels, which should be ready to use. Okay, and coming to the secondary fuels, what are the secondary fuels? Secondary fuels are the one which are derived from the primary fuels. Okay, derived in the sense, like a small treatment should have given, some chemical treatment should have given. One more example we can say, the fossil fuel is there. Okay, generally the petroleum liquid is called as a fossil fuel. That fossil fuel, after the fractional distillation, okay, it will be giving a different petroleum fractions, right? Petrol, diesel, kerosene, wax, anthracene, all these things are coming from the fossil fuel, right? Okay, so what is the process done there? Fractional distillation. Okay, after the fractional distillation, what will happen? The liquids will be separated depending on their boiling points, and the solids or gaseous fractions also will be separated, right? So the secondary fuels are the one which are derived from the primary fuels. Fine, like charcoal, petrol, diesel, etc. right? And then this is the tabular form. Like this the classification can be written in a table form. Okay, the type is a solid, liquid and gaseous fuels. Examples for both the categories, primary and secondary fuels of wood, solid, liquid and gaseous fuels. Then next topic is a calorific value. What is calorific value? Before going to that, like a good fuel, when we say a good fuel, it should have some of the characteristics. Okay, what are the characteristics of a good fuel? Okay, a good fuel should have some properties, like for example, we can say generally a good fuel should not supposed to produce a large amount of ash content. What happens if it is producing ash content? It decreases the efficiency, and also there will be disposal problems. Okay, and a good fuel should have a moderate ignition temperature. What is the ignition temperature? The temperature required to ignite a fuel. Like the petroleum fractions, when it is carried on a transport, it will be written there, right? Highly inflammable. Okay, you can imagine. Okay, this gas fuel is there, gaseous fuel. Okay, we know to light we need only a small spark, right? Okay, so we should be very careful, right? There are many chances of causing a fire accidents if there is a leakage. Okay, so good fuel should have a moderate ignition temperature, not very less or not very high. If the ignition temperature is very high, what will happen? Okay, we need to supply large amount of fuel to ignite the fuel itself. Okay, so a good fuel should have moderate ignition temperature. If the ignition temperature is very less, it causes fire accidents. If the ignition temperature is very high, we need to supply large amount of heat to ignite the fuel itself. Okay, and the good fuel should be easily available. That is not possible nowadays. Okay, and for transportation it must be easy. It should not demand for a large space. Okay, and one more characteristic of a good fuel is a calorific value. What is the calorific value? Calorific value is the amount of heat liberated. Okay, like the efficiency of the fuel is directly measured by using the calorific value. What is calorific value? It is the amount of heat liberated when an unit quantity of fuel is burnt, okay, in presence of air or oxygen. Unit quantity means here the meaning is when we burn a known quantity of fuel, known amount of fuel. We are burning 1 kg of fuel, 500 grams of fuel, 250 grams of fuel. Okay, when a known quantity of fuel is burnt, how much energy it is giving rise is called as a calorific value. There are two types of calorific value. One is a gross calorific value. The second one is a net calorific value. What is the gross calorific value? Okay, the definition for gross calorific value is it's the amount of heat liberated when an unit quantity or unit mass of the fuel is burned in excess of air or oxygen, and the products of combustion are cooled to room temperature. What is the meaning here? For example, you just imagine we are using a closed vessel here. Okay, closed vessel in the sense you can imagine a pressure cooker also. Okay, what will happen there in the pressure cooker? See, after 2 or 3 whistles, what do? We will leave it for cooling by itself, right? Okay, we are not opening the vessel by force, right? Okay, we are giving time for cooling, okay, by taking its own time. Okay, that time what will happen actually inside the pressure cooker? Okay, the heat fumes will be there, no? The heat will be there, no? That will be condensed back to water. Okay, that gives out some small amount of the energy that is called as a latent heat of steam. Fine. Okay, when the steam is converted into the water, it will be adding some small amount of energy. It is called as a latent heat of steam. Okay, so that is the meaning here. The products of combustion are cooled room temperature. Okay, fine. And so always the gross calorific value will be higher. It's also called as a higher calorific value. Higher or gross calorific value. Fine. When we are cooking in a pressure cooker, what happens? When it is cooling or in a closed vessel, what happens there? What is happening here? There the steam will be converted back to the water. When it is converted, it will be adding some small amount of energy that is called as a latent heat of steam. So the gross calorific value is always higher compared to the net calorific value. Fine. And what is net calorific value? The net calorific value definition, it is defined as the amount of heat liberated when an unit quantity of the fuel is burnt in excess of air or oxygen, and the products of combustion are let off to the atmosphere. Okay, what is the meaning here? Here you can assume, we are heating in a open vessel. Okay, when we are heating in a open vessel, what is happening? The steam is completely, it is going to the atmosphere. Okay, we are not, there is no control, we have not closed, so the steam is expelling out to the atmosphere. So here the latent heat of steam is not added here. Okay, so the net calorific value will be always less than the gross calorific value. It's also called as a net calorific value or lower calorific value. Clear now friends? Gross calorific value is the amount of heat liberated when unit quantity of fuel is burnt in excess of air or oxygen and the products of combustion are cooled to room temperature. In the case of a net calorific value, you can assume we are heating in a open vessel. Okay, so the steam is expelled out to the atmosphere. So here there is no addition of the latent heat of steam. So the net calorific value will be always less than the gross calorific value. Okay. And then the calorific values, it will be expressed in terms of, like for solid or liquid fuels, it will be expressed in terms of kilojoules per kg, fine, kilojoules per kg, and for gaseous fuels, okay, joules per cubic meter, it is expressed as. Okay, so this is about the introduction and classification of the fuels. Okay, so we will be discussing with the next topic. Okay, thank you.